of where the people are, and then if they go to other sites, you get some additional background information of your target audience, if you're actually getting your target audience that you want, and so forth on there. So it's a pretty sophisticated tool that they use. It's like what a lot of web advertisers use. So,
and you can send these to your phone, so they have an app. So you can send all these things, these files to your phone, so you can have a nice reference as you're writing. You won't get lost. The National Geographic site also has a complimentary app that goes with that. So, you know, we think we're on the cutting edge with this stuff. And when the bathrooms go in, I will feel ready like we could advertise the heck out of this place. When it was first brought up in the SEDS process, hey, we're going to market, the first thing I said was, can we get a bathroom or two? That was my first thought. You know, as the person who is working in the dirt a lot out there and knows the landscape better than most, and the park users, it's very simple. We needed bathrooms. And so we're grateful to have those allocated in this year's budget. Maury earlier alluded to the community branding. I don't know if you'd like to add anything at this point, since you already addressed it.
Well, I'll just, when you're done, I'll just kind of
I'm pretty much wrapped up with this stuff.
All right. Well, I want to actually remark on a few things. Going back to when Joel was talking about the trail on federal land, Joel, in his usual fashion, got everybody together so we could talk about the trail system and what he was proposing. And as usual, he's persuaded them to work with us and had sort of a, you know, one direction kind of a thing. They had their ideas, and in true Joel fashion, they thought what they thought about where the trails should be. And, well, you know, have you thought about this and that? Have you thought about that? And eventually, the trail was exactly how Joel wanted it. And I think that just illustrates the effort that both Joel and Pete, and for that matter Richard, have put into trying to craft the best things out of the SEDS document, where we think the biggest bang for the buck is. And there's been several meetings. You know, Richard's meeting with them constantly because there's a lot of little stuff that, as Joel said, you know, you can go into. But from brochures to just all of a sudden we have the ability to have a crew out, so can we get some money put towards crews? And so it's been really dynamic. And I just really want to commend all three of those gentlemen for the work they've done. So bringing it back to conclude this report, again, these things that Joel's talked about would be incorporated into the SEDS update, and the branding would be a series of interactions and meetings, and they would hopefully pair nicely with the wayfinding, which you're about to hear that presentation as well. So ultimately, we're asking you to authorize the CAO to enter into a contract with Chabon to complete those tasks. And so with that, I'll field any questions, or Joel can.
I got some more stuff. Richard?
Oh, Joel's back. Oh, the brochures.
I forgot. I wanted to hand these out to you, if I may. Part of the SEDS money spending is going toward 10,000 of these, and these were just put together pretty recently. Those are printed on lousy paper with lousy ink. The 10,000 we get will be nicer. So, you know, that's where it's actually a relatively small investment to get 10,000 of these things done. Lastly, we have three visitors that may like to say something. We have the bike club president here, the bike shop owner here, and Mr. Stan Bales with BLM. And what I'm hoping for maybe is you guys have your fingers on the pulse of the mountain biking scene at this moment, and maybe you could just speak to that in general terms, you know, sort of the trends you're seeing, the bike races, how they're going, you know, are people discovering us, how do local riders feel about what we're doing, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Hi, my name is Brian Tilford. I'm the Susanville Area Bicycle Association president. To start off with, I want to say thank you to whoever was involved with getting Joel and those guys out there to put the trails in, because they've done a fabulous job. Our trails are top-notch. I've ridden quite a few different places, from Reno, Truckee, Auburn, Downeyville, if you guys have heard of the Downeyville trails. I have to go for work down to Santa Cruz usually once a month, and I usually take my bike with me, and I get to ride all the Santa Cruz trails. And if you guys don't know, Santa Cruz is pretty much where the mountain bike population took off, where the whole thing kind of started. Their trails are unique, but they're not like ours. They don't get the opportunity to put the berms that Joel was talking about. They don't have that nice flow. There's just a lot of cut-in trails, a lot of stuff that's actually illegal that they put in over there that people are riding on. So the ability to come here and be able to ride on trails that aren't illegal, and then you're able to be out there and do, and not causing problems, it's pretty amazing. I just got back from Klamath Falls. I took my wife up there. We went up to try to check out their trails in Klamath Falls. Nice town, nice brewery. Trails terrible. Wouldn't recommend going there as a mountain bike destination. Met a lot of people over the last 4 or 5 years at these areas. Friends that I've actually made that I go ride with when I go to these different areas. And had a few of them come up here and ride our trails. They love them. We're a little far away from the guys down in the Bay Area. It makes it tough sometimes to get up here. I did have a few come up for our race that we just put on October 4th. They were able to come up for that. Rolling into the racing, Joel has worked tremendously with the club and the county to help us put these races on. And this last 2 years, we've seen a huge increase in our numbers that have come in. The Super D race particularly, we started that. This was our third year for that. And we went from last year we had about 28 adults, and we had like 6 or 7 kids that we do for free, little guys. We doubled that. We went to 60 adults this year, just from last year, just basically word of mouth and a little bit of extra we put on the web. And talking to these guys, I had 3 actual pros show up here, and one of them name's Kyle Warner. He just won the National Enduro Series, and he's out of Chico. And he came up, rode, and he loved it. And he's recommending bringing his friends up next year. We were able to, with local help from sponsorships from our community, we were able to pay back the top 5 riders this year in the pro class. And Kyle ended up going home with a $300 check, and he was actually shocked from such a small community, smaller race, that's how much we were able to put out. So we're looking at next year actually having to split it and go to 2 days, not just one, to be able to get everybody up the hill, because we do a lot of shuttling up for the races. So we're looking at doing all the sport classes on Saturday and the pro classes on Sunday. So it's going to be a pretty big event next year. And the club has spent a lot of time out there working on the trails. Joel can attest to this. We were out there the week before because we didn't know we were getting in the water. We were out there watering, taking our trucks up there with water tanks and water bags and hoses. We had 400 feet of hose out there. We were watering the trail, trying to get it to pack back down. And then we had that nice rain the weekend before the race, and man, that thing turned out beautiful. It was the best we've seen it. So it's a good event. This new trail system that Joel was talking about up on Vernonia, it's going to be a huge success, I believe, from what I've been seeing, to help bring more people in here. Because when you want to go on a destination trip somewhere, you have to have enough to keep you busy for 2 or 3 days. If it's just one day, like I said, that Klamath Falls trip was half a day and I was done. So having that aspect put into this, where you can do 18 miles, such as Downeyville, 18 miles from point A to point B, tremendous. People are going to love that. Do that twice in one day, you're wiped out, you're tired. Then you go to Ranch Park, we have all that over there for you. It's amazing. So you guys are all doing a good job that are helping, and I appreciate it, and I hope we can keep going. And the bike club itself is there to help. Again, we've helped Joel. We actually helped Stan. We went over that last 2 miles. We went out there and helped break, what was it, first half mile or almost half mile?
Almost, yeah.
So the club is very active, and the club is growing. And we're actually right now in the process of getting on with that organization Joel was talking about, IMBA, trying to become a charter member with them. So anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Nick McBride, wearing my Root Town Bicycles hat today. One thing Joel left out, 2/3 of the people from the Super D were from out of town. So to kind of go up for the SEDS thing, in October, probably a third of our business at the bike shop is from out of town, people from the marathon bike race. Bike race is bringing people in weeks before coming to pre-rider course, so they're coming to the community, spending money. And that's kind of the whole goal of this. Something I wanted to hit on is we've talked about the tourism and creating tourism, but something that's been neglected to be seen is the people in our own community that are starting to come out and enjoy things in their community. Corrections, there's always a complaint about a disconnect with the guards and not feeling like they want to be here. And the mountain biking's really brought them into the community, and I have a ton of mountain bikers that are COs that are coming in every day buying parts, and trails is what's got them out there. So this is bringing our own community, spending our own money in town instead of going out of town spending it. It's really just impressive to see, and makes you feel good when you've been living here for a long time. You see them starting to be connected to the community. We really appreciate the trails, all the new work that's been going on. We opened the bike shop, the other shop closed. We saw a need for a shop in town, and with the direction everything's going, me and my wife, we couldn't not do it. So we made it happen. We've had a lot of support from you guys, and we've used your business assistance programs to help us get going. So it's a win for you guys on that side too, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I had a couple of questions. Oh, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, I want to bring somebody.
Come on up.
Another time?
Yep.
All right. I wanted to hear what Joel had to say. That's fine, because Joel always has a nice presentation. So I didn't make any prepared remarks, but I made a bunch of notes while he was talking, so I just want to reflect on some things I heard. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Stan Bales, Outdoor Recreation Planner for the Bureau of Land Management in Susanville. I came here as a young man. I'm not young anymore. That was from the abandonment notice was filed with Biz Johnson in 1976. Yeah. And so I've had the really good fortune to help develop the Biz Johnson Trail from the get-go. And so when the marathon happens, it's like harvest season. Go out there and just see 500 this year, 524 people from all of the United States. We had 18 states represented this year. Before the economy went to pieces in 2008, we had 41 states represented. But there's still really a great success with 524 runners. It's a Saturday and a Sunday event. If you just project, simple math, if every runner spent $10, there's $5,000. If they spent $100, do the math. It just goes right up. The promoter of the marathon said that the average marathon runner spends $500. But that is a whole package, traveling to, renting your car, driving up here, whatever. But so, the locals aren't going to spend that much. We got a lot of Reno Sparks people that came up here, and they may be here just for the night or for the day, I don't know. But in any case, we got a lot of people in town that wouldn't have been here if it weren't for our trail. But I'm just going to comment on a few other things. So we've been talking about mountain biking a lot, but needless to say, running for the marathon, and we have the long distance events and the shorter events. And the half marathon drew people from all over the United States. People from back east came here just to run the half marathon. And I was completely impressed as I went through and looked at those reference information where people registered from, that I did see the entire Wasik family was out there for the mixture of events. It was pretty cool. So we got a smorgasbord of events that people can do. And they even added...
I should have did that.
But they even added a 30-mile race, which is 50 kilometers, for these people who 26 miles isn't enough. And there's a couple from Bend, Oregon that came down. He was 67 and she was 64, and they did it. I was amazed, absolutely amazed. Anyway, I'll stay off the marathon on other things. So I've been to trails conferences over the years for many years, and invariably people want to know, how much money is your trail bringing into your community? What's the economic benefit of your trail? And I made sure I went to some of these sessions by professors who are into economics. And the key guy that I really have got to know and enjoy, he teaches out of North Carolina now, but he used to be involved with the Appalachian Mountain Club and the trails in the Northeast. Those trails have been going for over 100 years. He also helped stimulate the Tahoe Rim Trail development. He was one of the consultants when they developed the Tahoe Rim Trail over the last 25 years. And he said, first of all, look at the benefit to your community. The quality of life to your community. That's one of the true benefits of your trails. And then there's also the tourist dollars that come in. And we've been hearing that. I mean, it was great to hear what Nick just said about it, bringing out some of the people who otherwise might not have been outdoors. So it's not only the health benefits to me, it's the social fabric of your community. People get acquainted on trails. They don't get acquainted driving by each other on Main Street. They barely even say hello. But you get out on trails, you get to know. I see people walking Ranch Park every single morning. I didn't know those people before I started walking. I get acquainted with those people. It's kind of neat. And of course, there's a place for events, fundraisers. This Blue Star Moms, they use trails to raise a bunch of money. So there's some great benefits of trails. Joel's website, fantastic place to share where you live with friends, family, and people from afar. Just send them to his website, our website, your website. It's Lassen County, Susan Ranch Park, because it really showcases our area. Disabled folks, I don't think we're using our trails enough for them. I think we've got a lot of potential for the Biz Johnson Trail. Hopefully next week, weather permitting, we're going to take a bunch of seniors from Lassen, Eagle Lake Village, and from the rehabilitation center above the Little League Field out in thanks to the city's golf carts. Jared? Yeah, the city's helping us. We did it last year. We're going to do it again. Trying to get them out in the golf carts. I've spent years managing that trail non-motorized. We will still keep it that way, but golf carts are quiet, so we want to take folks out in the golf carts. I think it'd be really good. In wheelchairs, of course, you can take your friends and family out in these little motorized wheelchairs. They're just fine. Joel mentioned Ball Mountain trails. I'll just give you an update. That's conceptual, what he showed you. I'm not sure if all those trails will get built. There's other issues we have to address. But the concept of all those trails is to provide trails for the equestrian community and other non-motorized users. I did talk to adjacent landowners since the meeting in Standish this spring. 52 landowners adjacent I've talked to so far, and I would say 85–90% solid for the trails. Some of them are runners, some of them are hikers, some of them wouldn't go up there, but they said their grandkids would. So I think it's pretty darn good support. Hikers, hunters, runners, mountain bikers would use them. Shooting will continue. There's a target shooting area out there that won't get changed. The deer, that's a big issue about will this affect deer. Ranch Park, gets a lot of use. As you go there, there's a lot of deer at Ranch Park. So it doesn't seem that that's displacing deer too much at Ranch Park. And lastly, Eagle Lake Basin, we didn't really talk about that at all, but there's tremendous potential for trails up on the ridges around Eagle Lake Basin. There's roads that you can drive to the top, you can ride downhill, you can run cross country. And I know some of the businesses up there have been really requesting that we do trails in the Eagle Lake Basin also. So I just want to,
You left out your Honey Lake Ring Trail, the one that you've got in the BLM master plan, so don't forget that one.
Yes, there is a big concept. We want to work on it one piece at a time, but the idea that we have both the desert to the north and east, and we've got the Sierras to the south and the Cascades to the west. And we could conceivably put a trail all the way around that. We did put that in our land use plan. It'd be a 200-mile loop. You're not going to bite that off in one piece. So we've got to work at it. And the Susan Little, the Diamond Mountains to Thompson Peak, really tremendous potential right there. And then what Joel's doing up on Fredonia ties into the Biz and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Stan. All right, I'd like to get some comment from the board. I'd like to, obviously, it's a tremendous success story. Unbelievable. Kudos to everybody. But my question is, the agenda item is actually to approve a contract for Shaven.
Right.
And I see the successes, because of Joel, Pete, Nick, the mountain bike community. I'm just curious. I think it's prudent to hear where Shaven. I see where all you guys contributed to the successes that the community's enjoying now, but it'd be nice to get some. When I was reviewing the material, I was sort of involved a few years back with through the economic development when I think they came and first gave the pitch in one of the EDC meetings, and I just would like to know what was the cost of that initial plan, and what were some of the bullet points. Like in this contract, there's basically 3 bullet points. They do the branding, the web portal, and then a report for the $25,000. What was that initial contract for? What were some of the objectives they were going to achieve?
Sure, the initial objective of the economic development strategy plan was to gather the community together and come up with the economic strategy, which evolved into this focus on trails. And Maureen and Joel can elaborate a little more on this, but that was the plan that was put together by Chabon, and they were hired to do that, which they've done. We're now implementing the results of that plan.
What was that contract for?
It was for $35,000, and it was paid from a CDBG planning and technical assistance grant.
Okay.
But out of the 35,000, wasn't enough portion of that used to pay the county staff, so is that all 35,000?
No, it was a full contract for $35,000 to Chabon.
And the, like this contract has listed 3 basically items to include. What was that? Just like one general bullet point? And the first plan, the 35,000? Was there several items they're supposed to do?
The original plan was basically a formulation with all the people from LEDC and others to come up with what they thought were the biggest targets. And that was, the common themes were visitor serving market, and under that drawing visitors and strengthening tourism through recreation, which would result in better retail offerings. And that was, the focus was comprehensively trail systems. And so, you know, the document as a whole has a lot of different ways to go about improving the economic development of this community, but the focus was trails. And so between the Economic Development Council and Mr. Egan sort of trying to eke out where the best bang for the buck is, that's why we came forward. We showed you what we've done so far, and we think, as a recommendation to you, those 3 things with the SEDS fit nicely with what Joel's doing and the direction we're going, and we think that would be the best use of the money.
So would you say, I mean, I'd like for you guys for the answers to these questions, Joel, all the current successes that the county and the group are enjoying, is it a result of Chabon's efforts, or is it a result of all you guys' efforts?
I think that they helped to highlight what was already occurring. I think that they really highlighted at the beginning of the process, hey, they of course didn't make it up, right? They found something that was exciting, and I think helped folks to
They
focus
held
on
up
that.
a mirror for these guys to look into, and what they saw was what they were already doing.
I can be cynical. I can be cynical on consultants, and I think one of the first things, I'm a very honest guy. One of the first things that I thought of and said was, well, heck, 35 grand, think of how many trails I can build with that.
Yeah.
But I do recognize that these consultant efforts lead to things that set the stage, for us to proceed with the project. So
That's kind of where I was going with but I mean, my vote, I was to you guys' insight is that's what I'm saying, if it's you guys providing the horsepower, and the idea is to achieve these successes is the $25,000 better spent, with Chabon, or is it better spent, given it? That's what
I sense what you were getting at.
exactly. So because that is the agenda item, really. I mean, that's why it's important to hear some feedback on the value of the previous contract and of the new one.
I think your point is well taken, and I think it's one that has oftentimes been dominant here in the boardroom. In my years of being here, I can tell you right now, I have a track record of not supporting and being pretty much antagonistic to have any consultants at all involved, because we get generally little back in exchange for what is allocated for it. But I'd have to say, having worked with Audrey Taylor and with Chabon, okay, they are probably the one exception to the norm, and I think she did a tremendous job in terms of getting the LEDC group, the locals, to look in the mirror and see where they shine and where the opportunities lie. And I think that was the value of that particular contract. And if you recall, I was, first of all, we were out of time and we were ready to send the money back. And I basically challenged the staff and challenged the board even that, hey, this, either you're gonna do it or you're not. And I'm thrilled to death that what transpired out of that was great. And I think investing with her as basically, it's like a lifestyle coach, you know, with the team that we have locally, is going to continue to generate tremendous rewards. But I think more so, go to page 4 of her on her reference list. And this one jumped out at me here when I was looking at it for today's meeting. And the bar on the side where she has a quote, and I have to say Audrey's very good at marketing herself, because this is worth its weight in gold. She has a quote and kind of a background from Dr. Glenda Humpston, who is the state director for USDA for rural development. And this is the gal that controls a lot of money that basically is invested in California that comes out. These are the federal dollars that come in. She actually was here about 2.5 years ago and did a seminar or a workshop at San Mount Casino, and we all had a chance to kind of go up there. And that's my first introduction to her, and we all had a chance to meet her and kind of talk to her one-on-one even. And this gal right here, she's looking for opportunities. I mean, she was focusing on the food chain, like here's where all the farmers are, and the food flows to these folks here, and then they're the ones that distribute it out. And it's kind of like how you get everything from the fields onto the table and stuff. And tomatoes don't grow in the grocery store; they just sell them. And that was the kind of the stuff that she really focused on. But she really looked at economic development and how the rural areas have been shortchanged over the last couple hundred years in this country, and how we can change that around in terms of taking those federal dollars and invest them dynamically to build our local economies. So the fact that people like Audrey have connections with people like this Dr. Humpston, okay, where the money is, I think what she brings to the table is more than just holding up the mirror and making us all shine and be excited about what we are and who we are and what we're doing, but she has the ability of taking that and helping us connect where these pots of money are at, what this lady kind of controls. And it's people like Audrey that will take whatever we do finally, nurture and put on the table for growth, and connect with this lady right here, because this is the gal that's going to be able to fund a lot of the expansion and growth of the infrastructure. So when I saw that, that jumped off the page huge, because without that, you're not going to go that far. I mean, you'll make some progress, but this is the thing that has the opportunity to take us to the ultimate level. And I really commend staff for rising to the challenge that was given to them. And I think Audrey has done a great job at bringing out the best of them, and I'm proud of the whole bunch. For once, I actually like a consultant. After the point.
Mr. Chairman, I could direct you to page 3 of the proposal. There's 3 different items that compose the $25,750. One of which is the SEDS annual report, and Representative can speak to this. I think that's an obligation on our behalf from the CDBG grant that we will report annually.
No, it's actually, in order for the SEDS to remain in compliance with the U.S. Economic Development Administration, in order to receive funding, the performance measures must be updated annually, and then a new SEDS updated and submitted every 5 years. So if the county was interested in CDA funding, that's a requirement in order to.
I just wanted to point that out.
The CDBG program is closed out at this point, so there is no more ties for the SEDS with the CDBG program.
Any more comments? I obviously, I assume just by how highly you're here to support this item, you obviously think it's good value for money, but I just thought, I think it's important without $50 money that you actually hear from the company that we're going to be sending the money to. Are they here to give any comment?
They're not here. We could invite them.
I mean, I don't want to hold up the show. I just, I just think, it's
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the CAO to enter into a contract with Chabon Concepts, which is in the agenda, and that we embrace the direction that our team, our local staff, in terms of fulfilling the mission that was set out by that original SEDS. This is the next level, and I think we need to keep the momentum going. And I think the $25,750 will be some of the best $25,750 we'll spend all year long.
Sure. under discussion, I totally agree with you, and I look forward to supporting it, but I just wanted to get some information out about Chabon and their contribution to the successes. We've heard all of these individuals' contribution, and I think it's important, that we also have a little bit of dialogue with the person that's actually